Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome in if this is your first time being here. My name is Melissa, and this is Empowered Gems Tarot. Today we're going to be answering the question, how does your person view or perceive you at this time? So we'll be kind of taking a peek into how they are currently viewing you, your energy, the situation. Hopefully this will help you guys to understand sort of how they're framing things based off of their own unique position and perspective here, okay? Keep in mind that this is a general collective reading on YouTube, so messages will vary in how specifically or closely they align to each individual viewer out there. As a best practice, if anything that I say in your chosen reading feels confusing or doesn't really feel as though it fits your situation as you know it to be, just release that, let that go, and respect that those messages are likely for somebody else out there in the collective that's viewing the same reading as you. Never want to let those things get you upset because the general readings are not specific to your unique energy. If you guys did want to book a personal reading with me, the link to my website is in the description box down below. Personal readings are also a great way to get a more specific read on your own personal situation. And I do also offer memberships on Patreon, where I also upload pick a card readings and other types of content. The collective on Patreon is a little bit smaller. So if you guys ever feel like you're not really in the place where you want a personal reading, but maybe the generals aren't hitting as specifically for you, you can absolutely follow me on Patreon as well. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and select your reading. So if you're drawn to reading 1, we're working with the Lord of the Rings Tarot and this pyrite crystal. If you're drawn to reading 2, we're working with the Muse Tarot and this rose quartz. If you're drawn to reading 3, we're working with the Everyday Witch Tarot and this labradorite heart. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Think about your person and what you need to know about their current perception of you and this connection. Go ahead and select the deck or crystal that you feel the most intuitively connected to. Once you've made your choice, you can scroll down to the description box below to locate the timestamp that will skip you ahead to your chosen reading. See you there. Hey group 1, and welcome to your reading. If you guys were drawn to the Lord of the Rings Tarot and this really pretty pyrite crystal, this is going to be your message. And today we are going to be looking into how your person is currently viewing or perceiving you in this connection. So remember, this is kind of us peeking into this from their perspective. So it doesn't always have to mean that the way they view you is accurate, right? We're just kind of looking at the situation through their lens and their own unique lived experience, okay? So let's go ahead and jump in group 1. So starting us off, we have the box archetype, and we have inner strength. Okay, so how are they viewing you? So for some of you guys, this person might be kind of putting you in a box, right? Like maybe there's like a certain structure or compartment that they're placing you in, right? So for instance, this could be someone who's saying like, oh, you're my friend, or you're my coworker, or there's just like something about you that they kind of put into a particular compartment of their life, okay? But the interesting thing about the box is that it also talks about like being contained through structures. So there could be something about this connection that maybe they feel a bit boxed in, like because you exist within this specific container or compartment in their life, maybe there's something about it where they struggle to break free of restrictions. Like it's kind of a restricted feeling that I get from this. It talks about kind of like structure, societal norms, maybe like limitations that they have around the situation due to whatever the circumstances are that you guys know them through. We also have the energy of inner strength here as well. So there's a part of me that's kind of feeling like there's something about you or something about this connection where they see you as being very magical. I do think that physically speaking, if you guys have like, well, not even necessarily if you have long hair. I'm just specifically drawn to the hair in this card. So I think they like your hair, whatever your hairstyle is, they find attractive or appealing. But there's something about you that I think challenges their way of thinking, or sort of challenges, it challenges them to kind of maybe think through or break free of some of the rigidity and structure, either around their life or just like around the connection in general. Okay. So let's keep going. Yeah, I feel like there's something about you that's like really creative. Maybe you guys are kind of fast paced as well with the rabbit here. But I feel that they view you as being like very magical, very confident, and you challenge them. You definitely challenge them to think differently. Okay. To break free of rigidity or like rigid structures in their life, rigid ways of thinking. So Spirit, how does group one's person truly view them? Let's see. We have the King of Wands. We have the Queen of Cups. Wow. We have Judgment, which is kind of interesting to see Judgment, because this card of the box can also talk about judgments, like rigid thinking, you know, closed-mindedness that sort of keeps us stuck. So it is just interesting to see that. Yeah, let's keep going. One more. And then we have the Ace of Swords as well. Okay. At the bottom of the deck, the King of Coins. So lots of masculine sort of king energy coming through here. I'm going to pop this over here. I still want to see our flowers. Okay, perfect. All right. So let's start here, group one, and we'll build out some more cards here in a moment. So how do they view you? Well, if this person is a masculine, like if they are in a masculine role, they identify as a man, or they just embody more masculine, leadership-oriented type of energy, there is definitely something about you that challenges them to think differently about the way they show up or the way that they embody this energy. The first card that came up was the King of Staves, which is the King of Wands. And I notice how he's looking directly at the box. Okay. So I think there is something about you that might indirectly kind of challenge this person's way of leading. The King of Wands is a charismatic leader, charming, charismatic. They light a fire. They're very confident. They know how to motivate others. They can be a little bit more fast-paced, but the Wands are not necessarily like the most stable energies, right? Like their passion, their drive, their energy, we need that to make moves, to move things along. I'm just noticing that we have this King of Coins at the bottom of the deck as well, right? And so this could be flipped either way. I feel like your person either tends to embody more of a King of Wands or a King of Pentacles energy, right? And the difference here with the King of Pentacles is that the King of Pentacles is going to be more stable, someone that's more steady, more responsible. They follow through. They take care of their responsibilities. You can rely on them and you can trust them. Whereas the King of Wands is more like that motivator energy, okay? And so I'm wondering if your person has been like really used to leading with a specific type of one of these energies, and there's something about you that sort of challenges their position, that challenges their approach, whether you're directly doing it or not. I would also say too, like with the King of Wands, you definitely inspire this person, right? Like I think you in a lot of ways embody this energy too. And I think especially if you are a feminine, if you identify as a woman and this person identifies as a man, and there are those energies at play, if you guys show up embodying this like leadership energy where you know how to like take the reins on a situation, that might challenge their way of thinking. That might challenge their upbringing. That might challenge their environments that they've worked in before that are more traditional, where like men would lead and women would not, right? It just depends on the situation, right? But yeah, I think that you also show up as very in your power and someone who is a strong leader. Now, at the same time here, they're viewing you as this beautiful Queen of Cups. So they see you as somebody who's compassionate, high levels of EQ, emotional intelligence, right? You're loving, you're caring. This is kind of compassionate leadership energy. Leadership seems to be coming up a lot here, so that could be significant to some of you guys. But this is just like this person feels that you're somebody that they can go to for emotional support. You're compassionate, you're a good listener, you understand them, you know how to make them feel a little bit better if they're having a bad day. Like they really, I think, admire that in you. And I think there's just something about it that feels very magical to this person. But again, it sort of challenges the constructs that they're used to. I definitely think that this person might struggle sometimes when it comes to this, especially like with the Judgment card being here again. I was getting like there's something about them that might be, I don't know, just like a little bit more rigid or fearful than they may let on, right? I think especially if they come across as this King of Wands, because that's like a very charming and charismatic leader, right? Whereas the King of Pentacles, it can be a little more like traditional, right? And so it could be that you guys might see this energy more front facing, but really deep down, they hold more of these like traditional values. And there is something here with the Judgment card where it's like, you guys definitely with this Ace of Swords challenge them to think differently. You challenge their views, you challenge their little boxes that they put things in. And there's a little bit of, I think, fear-based thinking around this, limitation-based thinking around this. Like I get a little bit of a hesitancy around change when it comes to that Judgment card being here. This card is also really interesting because this is the depiction of sailing into the undying lands, right? This is a place where only certain people or certain beings within Middle Earth are allowed to go, and it's separated by this ocean. So it makes me kind of feel like there's something about you that's very different and something about them that's very different. Maybe there's different experiences that you guys are bringing into something, and yet through that, I think it's like through those different experiences that it challenges this person's train of thought that they're typically in. Hopefully this is making sense, you guys. Let's keep going. We're going to move into some oracle cards. So, Spirit, how does this person truly view group 1? How do they truly view group 1? We have long-term, interesting. If this is like a romantic person, which I know for most of you probably will be someone you're romantically interested in, they definitely see you as somebody who's like a more long-term person, like that they would commit to long-term. And I just kind of wonder if like they're in this King of Wands. It doesn't mean the King of Wands cannot commit, right? But like they definitely are going to be somebody who values freedom and who likes to kind of, it's just like what am I trying to say? This type of energy of the King of Pentacles is more likely to commit to this, right? Whereas the King of Wands, I think, is still in exploration mode a little bit in their life. But maybe there is something about you that's challenged this person's thinking around like, oh, maybe I could commit to someone like this, because there's something about your Queen of Cups energy that has like kind of woken this person's heart up, I feel. Like maybe they haven't felt love in a long time, or maybe they've been in a relationship or had experiences in love in the past where it was like very traditional, like they were honoring or are honoring and following through with their commitments and things like that. But maybe there was love that was missing from this. Because again, this is more about those rigid structures that sort of limit us. And maybe this person was operating within this system and then they met you and they're like, wow, like I can actually feel emotion and have long-term traditional commitment with someone. We do also have masculine energy coming up here. So I do think there's something about you that kind of challenges their view on masculinity and what it feels like and looks like to be masculine and to lead. Because I think that you guys probably have the ability to hold your own in a leadership space, you know? They might really love you guys, group one. Like, there's definitely like a very loving, warm energy in my heart space as I'm tapping into their energy and the way they view you, okay? So we're working, this is my deck, Empowered Emotions Oracle. Let's just kind of see what else we can get here. How do they view group one, please, Spirit? We have trust. We do also have anxious energy here at the bottom of the deck with empathy. Like, yeah, I think there's something about you, something about your differences, or maybe there's even like a long distance factor here too for some of you guys, because the way I was like kind of tapping into that message had to do with going places where other people can't go, right? So there could be something here around trust issues that this person struggles with. They might get anxious in relationships, or just maybe they feel anxious about the distance or something like that. And maybe that's where this judgment of the situation is coming from, where it's like, well, I don't know if I can trust that. I don't know if I'm ready. You know, there's definitely still sort of a question with judgment around how it would work logistically, because I think they're used to their own little corner, their own little space, their own little world that they have created. And I think there's something about you that kind of expands it. It would push them to kind of get out of their comfort zone a little bit more here. Let's keep going. How do they view you, group one? How does this person truly view my group one viewers, please, Spirit? We have aloof. Just out of reach. Okay. We have distracted. Other pursuits. And then we have ready. So I don't know what's happening with you guys, but I feel like maybe you have pulled your energy back from this person because they are viewing you as not focused on them at all. And I wonder if there was something here where like you guys were more open and receptive to them in the past, but now they're viewing you guys as being aloof, distracted, like not really into them. But it's interesting because with the Queen of Cups, this person really loves your energy. Like they find you to be so compassionate and magnetic and magical, and you've like literally, it's like you got this person's heart beating again in a way that they haven't felt in a really, really long time. Maybe you guys are with this King of Pentacles now. Maybe you're with someone else or spending more time with someone else because they didn't want to commit to you, or they didn't want to get out of their comfort zone enough to meet you where you were. But it definitely feels like they view you as kind of being like you're not even into them. Like you're not even focused on them right now. So I'm curious, group one, are you not into this person anymore? Did you pull back your energy? They seem like they think really highly of you. Like you challenge their thinking, you challenge, you know, the way that they view the world. You've definitely woken up their heart again. And they see you as somebody that is like a long-term relationship potential. But they also think that you guys are not into them anymore, that you pulled back your energy. So let me know in the comments, group one, how does this resonate? What's been happening with your person? let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next reading soon. Bye. Hey group 2, and welcome to your reading. If you guys were drawn to the Muse Tarot and this rose quartz crystal, this is going to be your reading, and we're going to be looking into how your person is currently viewing or perceiving you. So just keep in mind that this is from their perspective, and just because it is their perspective, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth of the situation, right? We're just looking at this through their unique lens, okay, to give you some insight here. So let's take a look, group 2. So starting us off, we have the shadow archetype coming through. We also have the muses, inspiration. Okay, so how do they view or perceive you, group 2? Well, I definitely think that there is something about you that they find to be very intriguing. Like there's something about you that really inspires them. And I feel like the inspiration was maybe a bit surprising because this muse energy sort of talks about finding inspiration from sources that you didn't expect. Okay. Maybe you guys are very creative. Maybe you're very artsy. I kind of see that being depicted here with like the little paintbrush, the harp. Like there could be certain things, hobbies or interests or things that you do that kind of stand out to this person or that kind of inspire them. But it's interesting with the shadow being here because this sort of talks about how this person, through your light, is almost being pushed to kind of acknowledge their shadow side, shadow aspects of their personality. Like I could see this person maybe feeling a little bit envious of you because of your talents. So while they're inspired by you, they also envy you because maybe there's something about what you do that they perceive to be better than them. So it's interesting because while they recognize your beauty, they recognize your light, they recognize your talent, you inspire them, I think there's something about that that might trigger this person, group 2. So let's keep going. Let's see what's going on with them. So Spirit, we are tapping into the energy of group 2's person. How are they truly viewing or perceiving group 2? They truly view and perceive group number 2's energy. You know, it's also interesting too that you guys selected a crystal that is for self-love. This person, I think, struggles with self-love. I think they struggle with recognizing their own worth and their own value and talents that they bring to the table. And instead, I feel like they tend to fixate or focus on what they lack. And then they project that like outward. So we have the 2 of inspiration. This is the 2 of wands. How do they view group 2, please, Spirit? The 5 of cups. The 5 of swords. I'm not shocked at all to see that there. Four of Pentacles, yeah. They're definitely envious, group 2, for sure. I'm going to be curious when we look with the Empowered Emotions deck if that card comes out or if we get a different emotion. But definitely there's something about you that really triggers this person. We've got the number 5 coming up twice, okay? And 5s typically have to do with challenges that kind of force us to change. Okay, like without the challenge, we really don't change. So I think that they do carry a lot of complicated emotion when it comes to you. So how do they view you, group 2? So similarly to the muses, right? Like we have inspiration coming up here twice, and this is the first card that comes out. So I definitely feel like this person sees you as someone who's really creative. They see you as somebody that they can kind of like ideate with or brainstorm with, or maybe you just like really inspire them to kind of broaden their worldview a little bit here. One thing that I'm kind of being called to is how sort of stark and expansive this card is. There could be something about your creativity that's a little bit overwhelming to this person sometimes. Like, they see it, they vibe with it, but I think it also kind of makes them feel a little overwhelmed for some reason. Like, maybe they don't feel that they have the capacity to kind of move it forward at times, group 2. You guys might also be at a long distance from this person as well, because I see that with both of these cards, which can kind of indicate like separation or travel or just being at a distance from each other. This person kind of has like one foot in the door and one foot out the door. Do you see how she's sitting here and she's kind of just come out of her little portal to look out into this expansive sort of vast atmosphere? She's still got like one foot in that back door, even though she's open to exploring new avenues here. So I think that they're kind of like, especially if you guys are asking about a romantic partner or like a romantic love interest, there is something that's a bit non-committal about this or like hesitant about this that I'm getting. And I just have to say that. Where like they definitely feel like they can expand with you, but they're hesitant about really taking that full step forward because, again, something about it feels overwhelming. And I do really feel with this 5 of Cups, this 5 of Swords, that this person is like in a space of lack or disappointment. They're comparing themselves to you at times. And I think it's making it very difficult for them to kind of commit to taking a path forward here. They might also feel like you're disappointed in them with this 5 of Cups here. And the first thing that I noticed when this card came up was all of the ice here. So it's possible that maybe some of you guys have pulled back your energy. I see that here with the 4 of Pentacles as well, where it's like this energy of, I'm going to just keep my creativity and my gifts to myself, right? So that's a possibility here too. They might feel like you kind of dangle it in front of them only to take it away. For some of you, take it as it resonates. Remember, this is their perspective. But they're definitely disappointed. They're regretful about like however they've moved in this situation. But it's like with the 5 of Voices and the 4 of Materials here, 4 of Pentacles, this is kind of like, ego and pride and fear getting in the way of sort of opening up to a more vulnerable conversation about it that could help us to move forward. So this person with the 4 of Pentacles, it's like they want to hold on to you in a sense. They don't want to let you go, but they also don't want to open up to really fully receive your gifts and what you have to offer. It's like a very push-pull sort of dynamic that I'm getting here from this person. They may have also recently walked away, or maybe they perceive you to have walked away or kind of distance yourselves from them. And look, we have the Ace of Wands here. So there is something very creative that you bring into this person's world. But I think that they are getting in their own way of really being able to receive it or meet you where you are with it. There's creativity, there's passion, there's spark. But I feel like they don't see themselves as being good enough for you. And I feel like this person is triggered by your abundance. Like it's pulling up shadowy aspects of their personality. And I think that is also making them feel uncomfortable when they're around you, because they're like, why do I even feel like this? All right, let's keep going, group 2. So Spirit, how does this person truly view or perceive my group 2 viewers? I do think they see you as being like very feminine and like put together physically. I think they love your hair, your body. I do think there's attraction here. I'm getting that when I'm looking at a lot of these cards. But there's also like a lot of holding back. I do think that they view you guys as kind of holding back your energy a little bit from them. We have interference. And we have delight and desire. We also have the phantom lover. So they're very much like fantasizing about you. They're very much in their head about you, which I see with this Five of Voices as well. There's somebody else in the picture here or something else in the picture here that I think is preventing this person from being able to explore more with you. And I think there's a lot of disappointment over this because with delight and desires, they see you as being very abundant, magnetic, like a sweet treat that they can sink their teeth into, you know? And I think they have a lot of regret over the fact that they're not necessarily able to do that at this time. You know, maybe for some of you guys, this person is with someone else, or they've got other things going on in their life that's pulling them in different directions here. But they definitely see you as being like abundant. They see you as like a wish fulfillment. I do think that they enjoy getting to indulge in your energy whenever they can. But there's kind of like a fixation here on like the lack, that they don't get it as often, or they couldn't or can't expand more. How are they viewing my group 2 viewers? Please, Spirit. We have free. You know, I'm also kind of getting this message of like, I do really feel for some of you guys, like this person compares, like, why does group 2 get all of this abundance and I don't? 5 of Cups, delight and desire. Like they just see you as being very abundant and getting things very easily that they don't feel like they can obtain as easily. Their heart feels very blocked, group 2. They're viewing you as being free. So again, I kind of feel there are some clues here that are making me feel like this person is viewing you as having like walked away from them, or you've kind of pulled back your energy a little bit. You're withholding, you know, like you are not tied down to them. There's a lot of beautiful blue energy here. So like, I think you guys also bring like a very calming, tranquil sort of energy to this person. You guys might also be really strong in communicating your ideas or communicating about your talents or your gifts. Maybe singing or like verbal expression is a part of your creative talents that you possess. How do they view or perceive my group 2 viewers? Please, Spirit. We have idealistic, seeking perfection. What else? We have available, ready to commit. Interesting. See, but then we have flighty, playing games. So I think that they do sort of feel with the 5 of Swords that your energy can be hard to read. Like maybe you're in or you're out, or maybe you pull back or you show warmth. Again, this is their perspective. It doesn't mean that it's the truth of what's actually happening here. Underneath of that, we have nurtured, fulfilled needs, which makes a lot of sense. I think that they have experienced a very nurturing side of you, but it definitely feels like you guys have pulled back, and I can kind of understand why, because the shadow energy is kind of uncomfortable, right? If you're just kind of showing up and being your vibrant, talented self and it's triggering this person, I think it makes sense why you would be like, I don't know that I want to give that person a lot of my time and energy here. But I think that this person is intimidated by your vision. They're intimidated by your desires, your talents, your views, because they're viewing you as idealistic. Like you're somebody who maybe is very aspirational. Maybe you're somebody who has a high standard, right? Whether this is in love or life or just in general. And so with that 4 of Pentacles, it kind of causes this person to go inward and kind of close off because they feel scared that they're going to be exposed as not being able to live up to your standards. The 4 of Pentacles for me can sometimes talk about imposter syndrome, right? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that term before, but basically it just means it's like this internal monologue that this person has with the 5 of Voices, where they kind of say, if I open up or if I ask a question or if I try, I'm going to be exposed as an imposter who's really not supposed to be here. I'm going to be exposed to someone who doesn't know enough or doesn't have enough experience or whatever it is. And I feel like this person really struggles with that. And instead of kind of opening up to the possibility of trying and maybe making a mistake and learning from that mistake, it's like they kind of talk themselves down into this very negative space where they just close off. Like they're not rising to your standards. They're not rising to your light. They're afraid of it. They're intimidated by it. But they see you as somebody who is like, you know, maybe you have pulled back a little, but you're still there. You're still available. You know, so they know that you're still there, even if you have been a little icier to them recently. So I feel like at this point, it's really just kind of up to them to step it up and make a decision about how they would like to show up in this connection, because they do seem like they're kind of in limbo. Like they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, not really sure. They're really triggered. So it's like they're kind of being forced to sit into their discomfort right now, group 2, and make a choice. Like, are they going to rise up and try, or are they going to just give up? They need to make a decision here. So really interesting energy, group 2. Definitely let me know in the comments about this person and what's been happening between you and them. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me in today's video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one soon. Bye. Hello, group 3, and welcome to your reading. If you guys were drawn to the Labradorite heart, which is so pretty, this is going to be your message, and today we're going to be looking into how your person is currently viewing or perceiving you. So again, we're just kind of looking from the lens of their own unique perspective. So just remember that just because somebody views us a certain way, it doesn't make it accurate, right? This is just meant to help you guys to better understand sort of their unique lens of you. Okay, group 3. How are they viewing you? So we start with the energy of the maiden. We also have a reinvention here. Beautiful. Okay. I feel like just right off the jump with the maiden being here, like there's something very sweet, innocent, and pure that they kind of project onto you. Now, you guys could be all those things, but for some reason, I don't know why I felt like I needed to say the word project. I think there is something about you that they view as being very pure, very sweet, very innocent, but also very alluring, very tempting, right? This is giving me like a very tender feeling in my heart space too. Almost like there's something about you that really opens up this person's heart, or like lights them up at the heart space, or maybe they've got a crush on you or something like that. When I think of a maiden, I also think of like needing to be rescued, like in the fairy tales, right? So this could also kind of make this person sort of like rise into like white knight energy, if that makes sense, where they want to kind of be there to rescue you or to support you or to help you because they see you as being very sweet and pure. Maybe they see you as being a little helpless at times. I don't know if that's true. Again, it could all be projection here, but with reinvention, this is interesting. So I think they view you as being very creative, but there's also something that's very transformative for this person when it comes to being within your presence, right? I'm noticing the snake here. Snakes can talk of shedding skin, transitions, like moving from one thing to the next, rebirth sort of energy as well, outgrowing one thing and kind of embodying something new. So there could be something connected to this person, like in how they view you, that's helping them to sort of grow or reinvent themselves in some way here. Okay, or maybe that's something that you've done. Maybe you have reinvented yourself and that's kind of what this person is associating you with. But let's keep going. Let's get into the tarot, spirit. So how does this person view or perceive my group 3 viewers, please? we have the Justice card. King of Cups. Seven of Swords. Knight of Swords. So there's the Knight. At the bottom of the deck, the Page of Cups. I knew they had a crush on you. I knew it. So funny. I also am loving how different all of these readings have been. Sometimes, you know, when you sit down to record a pick a card, you're going to see like very similar themes at times, and these have all been super different. So anyway, how do they view or perceive you, group number 3? Again, with this Page of Cups, I do think that they have a little soft spot for you. I think they have a little baby crush on you. Maybe you guys know each other through friends or through community or something like that. But yeah, they see you as being very sweet. They may also see you as being very creative as well, or maybe there's something about you that sort of sparks this person's creativity, right? I'm noticing how like he's got the rainbow colored paint just kind of splattered everywhere. There's a rainbow here. So there's something that about you that does bring color and inspiration into this person's life. And maybe if they are going through a change or a transition, you are kind of like a bright spot in that for them. But the Page of Cups is also someone who's a bit emotionally immature when it comes to the expression of their emotions and feelings here. And I do feel with this King of Cups that your person does have deep feelings for you, but I think that they tend to be very stoic in the way that they represent them. I also think with the Seven of Swords being right next to this is they kind of push them down or hide them, right? I don't know that they're super vocal with you about how they feel, but they do feel something. I just think that they aren't the best at expressing it. They're very stunted in that way when it comes to emotional expression. Now, how they view and perceive you, we have the Justice card here. Okay, so there is something about you guys that is fair, balanced, accountable, truthful. Like these could be sort of traits that they associate you with. Maybe you inspire this person to be more accountable. Maybe you inspire this person to be more truthful because they are showing a little deceptive energy here with the Seven of Swords, right? Maybe you aspire this person to do the right thing. Justice can also talk about commitments. It can talk about balance, right? So there could be something around those themes that this person is associating you with. But yeah, there's something about you that brings these traits. I'm looking at the law book here. Right? And so when you think of the law, it's not always something that we like personally, but it's looking at a situation through a certain subset of rules that is meant to be more fair and neutral and sort of devoid of emotion, right? So there's something about that to this person and the way that they're viewing you, okay? They definitely have feelings with this King of Cups, right? There's definitely something about you that wakes them up at the heart space. I definitely feel, though, with the Seven of Swords next to it, that they push that down. They kind of hide their feelings. They don't necessarily want to. It's just so interesting to see the King of Cups surrounded by these very, like, devoid of emotion cards, right? Like, because Justice, it's very neutral. It's about doing the right thing. Right? And then like the Seven of Swords is not doing the right thing. It's more deceptive. It's more sneaky. But neither one of these are very emotionally expressive cards surrounding our King of Cups, right? So it's like they're sitting in this sea of emotion. They're not talking about it. They might give you like little expressions of care and love. That's like really all they know how to do. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. But that's just like, that's kind of all they know how to do at this particular moment in time. Maybe for some of you guys with the Justice card, that's all they can do at this particular moment in time. I feel like for some of you, this person could be married or like in another commitment or maybe just getting out of something, you know, because Justice, it can talk about legal commitments and laws, like we were saying, right? So it's like how they view you is like, okay, well, what's the right thing I have to do here? I have these emotions and feelings, but I kind of have to sit on them. I have to avoid them. I have to push them down. And then we come over here to this Knight of Swords, which is more about like sort of more blunt kind of intellectual expression versus emotional expression here. But I also feel for some of you guys with this Knight, of Swords, this could be sort of synonymous with drive and ambition. So you guys might really inspire this person. Again, there's something about you that kind of embodies a certain level of accountability. And I think it does sort of inspire this person to be more ambitious or to do more, to go after things more. They may also view you in this way as well, where you're very driven, very ambitious, very bold in your outward expression here. So Spirit, how do they view my group 3 viewers at this time? We have tweet, messenger. Okay. We have love line, revived. Ooh. Maybe they kind of associate you guys more with texting. Maybe there's something about text communication that you guys typically do with this person, which makes sense with the Page of Cups, right? Because that's going to be more sort of small, sort of subtle gestures of communication versus having like a lot of face-to-face conversations. So maybe you guys communicate more over the internet. But again, you guys, with this love line and the King of Cups, remember in the beginning I was getting that like heart-opening feeling. You have really, I think, woken this person up at the heart space. You've activated their heart. You know, like this is sort of giving me the energy of my heart was dead. My heart was closed off. It's now beating again because of you, group 3. So yeah, they definitely have a little crush. I wouldn't be surprised if when they're around you, their little heart starts beating really fast. How do they view my group 3 viewers, please, Spirit? We have addicted. We do also have prideful here. So yeah, there's something about like with this 7 of Swords, there is kind of an unhealthy pattern or unhealthy energy here with the 7 of Swords. With addicted, it's like, I think specifically just around their emotions or the way that they show up, they like avoid that stuff. You know, 7 of Swords is avoidant energy. It's like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to even acknowledge that. I don't even want to look within myself at that. So there is something that they're viewing about the situation that is sort of unhealthy, but I do feel that it's more of their energy versus your energy, group 3. Like remember, this is the lens through which they're viewing you, right? And so this 7 of Swords is, I think, a really big part of like how, like what shapes their perception of you. I think there's also a lot of sexual energy. I just started feeling that. I think there's a lot of sexual attraction that this person is feeling toward you that they also avoid or push down or kind of think about. How do they view my group 3 viewers, please, Spirit? Independent on their own terms. Okay. Attentive, wants to please. They do feel like you guys are making progress in some regard, whether that's together or just you as an individual. But it's so interesting that we have this maiden because, like, to me, it just kind of, it's like they see this dual side of you, this side that's very sweet and pure. And I think you represent that to this person where they feel like this crush. They see you as a princess, right? Like they want to come in and just like rescue you on their horse, or in this case, their broomstick, right? But then at the same time, they also see you as someone who is pretty independent. Like you're fierce, you set boundaries. I feel like with this Knight of Swords, they see you as somebody who's not afraid to communicate boldly. So it's interesting. I do think there's a little bit of projection, but I also think there's a dual nature to the way that they view you. I think with this Justice card, they definitely feel maybe a little intimidated, especially with this too. Like they want to make sure that they're reciprocating here with the texting energy. At the same time as that they see you as being independent, they also see you as being really attentive and nurturing here as well. So yeah, there is kind of that dual nature that you bring. Maybe some of you guys are Gemini or have like heavy Gemini placements in your chart, or you're just somebody who, you're multifaceted like a lot of us are. There's a side of you that is the swords energy where you're more blunt or you're more direct or you set your boundaries or you're independent, whatever it is. But then there's another part of you that is appealing to this person's heart, right? Because you are sweet to them. And they feel very emotionally activated by that. Group 3. I do feel for some of you, especially with this maiden, this princess energy coming through, they do kind of see you as a little bit like, I don't want to say dramatic, but like, you know how in this photo or in this card, the dog is like getting water all over her and she's like, ew. I feel like there's something about you that's kind of like princessy. Like you don't want to get dirty or you don't want to do certain activities, which I totally relate to, Yeah. Maybe that's only for a select few of you where they see you as being very like proper, like maybe you're more of an indoor person. You're not going to get yourself dirty or be like out in the weeds like that, or out in the dirt. Yeah, there's definitely like a princess energy in the way that they view you. But they like you. I think they have a lot of feelings for you, Group 3, with this King of Cups and this Page of Cups. I just think that they don't really express it that well yet, but they definitely have a crush on you. They definitely think fondly of you. But there is just something here, like, I don't know. We need to kind of keep an eye out for that Seven of Swords and that addicted energy, because there's something unhealthy that they're kind of pushing down as it pertains to you. Maybe it is something physical, sexual in nature, because that's kind of what I was getting as I started to tap into the energy of that card. But I also think it's just them pushing their emotions down, which is not a healthy pattern. I think it's getting there. Like they're starting to kind of get more comfortable with it. And maybe for some of you guys, like with the law stuff coming up, like justice, maybe this person has worked in a field where facts and logic and like those were kind of the emphasis. Maybe that was like a huge part of their identity, where it's more about that stuff versus emotions and creativity. And so again, you're showing up here with this reinvention energy, so that to this person, you're sort of a symbol of them shifting into something new or changing a specific way. So it could just be that they're not super familiar with that energy of the Page of Cups or like emotion in general, because it's not something that they have really dealt with much in their recent identity. So really interesting, Group 3. Comment below. Let me know what's been happening between you and this person and how this reading might resonate for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading soon. Bye.